from Cleveland's most accurate weather team. This is 19 First Alert Plus, sponsored by the man that makes them pay, Tim Misney.
Good morning, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News Now, coming to you from our digital desk. We're going to take a live look into downtown Cleveland. And if you look at those clouds above Key Tower long enough, you're going to see them moving at a pretty good clip because today is a first alert weather day. It's very important around here when our team in the 19 First Alert Weather Office, when they declare a first alert weather day, Erica Page is going to run us through what that means. First of all, just the definition of a first alert weather day.
Yeah, for us, it really indicates that weather is going to have an impact on your day-to-day activities, whether that be in the form of rain, sometimes during the spring season, of course, and summer, we're talking about severe weather, sometimes it's winter storms. But in the case like today, it can be just as simple as talking about higher wind gusts, because we know that, especially around Northeast Ohio, anytime that wind starts to gust 40 to 50 miles per hour, it can easily knock down sometimes trees, sometimes limbs, which then land on power lines, and then you can talk about some sporadic power outages. So that's where we're talking about that impact potentially to some of those day-to-day activities. And for us today, it is a first alert weather day through this afternoon and likely even into the early parts of this evening as we kind of wait for a cold front to work its way through and really eventually bring those wind speeds down. But out ahead of that front, it's going to get pretty gusty as we go through this afternoon. So that is something to keep in mind. We do have wind advisories that are in effect for most until 7 p.m. A couple lakeshore communities out east will last until 1 o'clock in the morning. But that just kind of gives you the idea of the setup that we're going to be tracking here as we go through the rest of this afternoon.
And just keep rolling here. What can we expect through the evening and then tonight before we get maybe our next system?
Yeah, so right now, you know, it's not bad if you stepped out this morning and potentially if you were up early enough, you saw a really pretty sunrise as the sun was coming in underneath those clouds. But the clouds, they blanketed the area. It's going to be something more common than not. That's why we were saying yesterday, hopefully you enjoyed the sunshine because probably not going to see a whole lot of it today. Temperatures right now into the lower 30s, factor in the wind. It's a pretty decent wind chill out there, feeling more so like the 20s. We will warm as we go through this afternoon, but it may not be quite as substantial looking as some of us may want. Temperatures closer to the lakeshore may only land low to mid 40s by the later part of today. Inland will likely be able to climb just a little bit warmer, mid to upper 50s. But what we're tracking is that next opportunity to see some rain. Out there right now this morning, we've seen a little bit of flurry activity trying to develop, especially off towards the east. But if we zoom this picture out, you can actually see a pretty decent line of showers and what we call some bright banding, indicating some pretty heavy precipitation rates, which in this case, it's likely falling as some bursts of heavier snow, transitioning to potentially a little bit of graupel or those tiny little ice pellets that are trying to mix in with some of that rain moving through the Fort Wayne area now. So this is the line of rain that we're going to track through this afternoon. It's all coming with the wind, so it's going to be a wind-blown rain as we go through the later part of today. But you can see that the timing for it arriving into Northeast Ohio, looking more so for areas west of 71 through the later part of this morning, say 10, 11 o'clock, closer to Cleveland by about noon, and then eventually clearing out of here once we get to about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is not going to be an all-day washout by any means, but if you do, say, have lunch plans, I keep that rain gear with you, just knowing that the rain is likely still going to be into the area. And then as colder air filters in later tonight, could get a little bit of light lake effect to develop out across Lake Erie, just because the lake right now, it's pretty unfrozen. We're actually going to talk about that more in First Alert Focus coming up tonight at 7:30 on 43.
And let's remind people about First Alert Focus. We're the only station in the market doing this, and a complete weather show, 7:30 Monday through Friday, WUAB, that's your CW43 station. Really a lot of work that goes into this. The entire weather team is a part of it, and you can catch it every night at 7:30. And as Erica said, we'll be focusing on some of the weather we're getting today and the high wind, and that's why it's a First Alert Weather Day. We're going to take a 15-second pause and get to our weekend outlook.
I've represented families just like yours for over 4 decades. Listen, if you need me, call me. You know I'll be there for you, and I'll make them pay. In the meantime, I'll keep an eye out for you.
And if you keep an eye on this forecast, you see that we have just one alert day, and that is today, as Erica has covered. Pretty good looking 7-day considering this is mid-February now. We are at the exact midpoint. Pretty good looking February forecast here. Erica, run us through it.
Yeah, you really, I mean, anytime you're talking about some 40s, potentially even 50s on the board mid to late February, it's not a bad looking forecast usually for us. Again, we are tracking the alert day today. We will have some rain. The big headline for us and the reason why the alert was issued is because we are going to have some of those high winds. Again, gusts 40 to potentially 50 miles per hour, not off the table as we wait for this next cold front to come through. Out ahead of it, temperatures are likely going to warm into the low to mid 40s today. A couple upper 40s, especially as you move a little farther away from the lakeshore, but you'll see that temperature bottoming out later tonight as we dip into the 20s. So that's the starting point for us for your Friday. We don't gain a lot of ground through the day. We're going to hold on to a lot of that cloud cover and some lake effect snow showers here and there as we wait for another system to pass us by to the south. That's important because we're not going to see the bulk energy out of that system as we then go into the weekend. But what we will notice the impacts of is more of that lake effect as those winds turn back out of the northwest, sourcing some pretty chilly air to start off your weekend. Daytime highs likely not even probably going to make it out of the 20s for a lot of us. We have a couple 30s on the board, but for a lot of us, it's going to be a pretty chilly start for your Saturday. Few scattered snow showers around the area, mainly in the form of some lake effect. And then once we get into Sunday, this is when things finally start to turn the corner a little bit for us. We'll work on slowly clearing out some of that cloud cover, bringing back some sunshine by early this next week. But it's next week, really Tuesday into Wednesday, that you're going to notice that more sizable warm up for us with temperatures back into the upper 40s. And then by Wednesday, potentially eyeing some mid 50s on the board as well.
We all know that being mid-February, this could be an entirely different 7-day. We could see snow, 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 snow. We've seen years like that. We're in that pattern this year, an El Nino year, where we're just not going to get that. So 19 First Alert meteorologist Erica Page, we know you and the team are going to keep an eye on this situation this afternoon. That's why it is a First Alert weather day. The team has declared that because of the high winds that are going to come in with this cold front. Erica, thanks for checking in. We know you guys will be on it.
Yep, thank you.
All right, take care. Just wanted to give you an idea on our weather picture with it being a First Alert weather day. One last look into downtown, and if you watch this picture long enough, you'll see some pretty good movement on those clouds ahead of this front. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be right here on our digital properties. Otherwise, our 11 o'clock news in a little more than an hour, and then our noon news on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a great afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media @Cleveland 19 News.